Hi, my name is Rich. Let me start over. Hi, my name's Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. You're watching my YouTube channel where I play amazing tabletop role-playing games with friends. This is the second of 3 sessions of a game called Hearts and Souls that came from Tim Kirk. And I've just found out Tim Kirk of Silver Lion Studios is working on a second edition of the game. Very exciting. Good luck, Tim. Who knows? Maybe this will help or not, but we're having fun anyway. This is part of Gauntlet Comics. Gauntlet Comics is this year-and-a-half old high concept thing for the Gauntlet community. Gauntlet community is this online group of fans, aficionados, and freaks for indie, small press, and OSR tabletop role-playing games. And Gauntlet Comics was our idea of like a shared setting that's in the idea of a comic book imprint, like Image or DC or Marvel, where we could all share the setting like a living campaign. We have a wiki going on, and we pass characters back and forth. And we're currently in our first foray into the idea of a crossover event. This is the summertime crossover, which is happening across multiple different eras in the Gauntlet universe. It's very high hoity-toity and silly and fun, and don't worry about it. It's fine. So the big theme of the summertime crossover is the Gauntleteer is missing. The Gauntleteer is this character from one of the first heroes back from the Golden Era. Started that the Gauntleteer was a citizen of Gauntlet City at the time. He found this gauntlet that had like magic or alien technology, or we don't know. He put it on. He became a hero, helped to form what's called the first guard for Gauntlet City at the time. They lasted for a while until a legacy thing and blah, 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 and comics, blah, blah, blah. But over the years, the power of the gauntlet has passed from person to person. Whenever New Gauntlet City, as it is now called, whenever New Gauntlet City has the need, someone will rise up and gain the power of the gauntlet. And we are playing in the 1980s, Bronze Age. Why is it called Bronze? I don't know. It's fine. It's what we decided to call it. Sometimes stuff by committee means weird metal names. I like Bronze. It's great. In the 1980s, the Gauntleteer was known as the Neon Hero, and she took the power of the gauntlet and forged her own arm. So she's like technical and stuff. She fought some long forgotten supervillain, defeated them, and took this item called like the spirit sword from them. And she wields it, or at least has wielded it, to fight foes. But because of the power of her will and the power of the gauntlet, this soul-sucking thing that the spirit sword could do, she keeps it from happening. Or at least she kept it from happening. You notice all this like twisty past tense is because just recently, like within a few days, the Gauntleteer has disappeared from everyone's minds, like everyone's memory. No one even remembers that there was a Gauntleteer except for 2 brave souls who we're now going to meet. So we should also meet the players too. Sherry, introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Hi, my name is Sherry. I use the she, her pronouns. I am playing Marcy Wiggins, whose superhero ID is XS. She has a tech suit that allows her to shrink down and use her suit to give her proportional strength to what she had before, but at this very tiny point. And she has magnetism powers kind of that let her move around. That's my story. It's a super suit. Come on, people. And she is hoping that they can find the gauntlet and she can have an interview, and then she can like work with the Gauntleteer after that. She's sure that will work out. So, and anyway, since she was the only one that remembered the Gauntleteer, she put a classified ad into the newspaper, and it was scatterbrained. who answered?
I never made that connection. I
didn't either until I said it.
That's so clever. Thank you so much, Sherry. I really appreciate it. Laura, please introduce yourself. Tell us about your character.
Yeah, hi y'all. I'm Laura, she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Trixie Stare, aka Skaterbrained, also she, her pronouns. Um, so Skaterbrained did respond to the anonymous, mysterious newspaper post by XS, and yeah, so now we're in this together. Skaterbrained has these kind of cool like lava lamp powers that kind of like ooze from her skin, and she can like throw these things, and they're hot, and it's not fun to get caught up in them. So don't cross her. And she is also wicked fast on the roller skates because she's on a roller derby team too. So yeah.
The end of our issue 0 or first issue in this limited series run, we ended at Marcy Wiggins' secret laboratory, which is located in Cemetery Hill, in a kind of graveyard warehouse, graveyard storage and cemetery accessory and the like storage warehouse. She had the top floor, whereupon there was a microwave and a sad fridge with almost nothing in it other than Swanson dinners in the freezer. She had a princess phone, which we've giggled about quite a bit, as well as a radical answering machine where she heard from Nick, her cooler brother, who is not going to a crap community college because the parents see the real future from his science, even though Marcy's obviously a super scientist and he's just I think that we can find the cure for this disease in 5.3 years. Totally different thing. And then Marcy decided to try to find out if there was some kind of subatomic sympathy between Skaterbrained and XS that might explain why the two of them remembered the Gauntleteer and no one else could. And that's when XS discovered that these two brave souls were like notes in a song where all the other notes were changed, but they remained the same. And the music that played during the time was Istanbul, not Constantinople. Now, clever readers might know that Istanbul, not Constantinople, was officially released in 1990. But even more clever readers might realize that this is a comic book, so screw you. And then also, they might be giants. Maybe they wrote that song, performed at a bunch of clubs. It became like underground popular. I mean, have you ever heard of the Roots? Okay, so it could be a thing. Also, time travel, and lastly, comic books. So it's 80s enough for us, and we love it, and therefore it is true. So that was the discovery that the two, our main characters, our totally cool roller derby girl with crazy lava lamp powers, and our someday she'll believe in herself super scientist who has super shrinking powers, the two of them together. So I propose that we start off with the two of you in medias res, which for many decades I thought was in media res, but there isn't actually an S there, and I'm not a good reader. So in medias res, in the middle of an action sequence, how do the two of you feel about that? Does that sound good, or do you have a particular thing that you wanted to do to? Okay, I'm seeing some thumbs up. So we start off with the first thing that we see is we flip the like very long editor's notes to catch everyone up from all the things in issue 1. So we turn the page and we see Skaterbrained flying through the air. It's the dark of night. We see these like wrought iron fence, with a little like Beely Bobs on it, and she flies over it and slams into a tombstone and breaks the tombstone in half. We see that she's in a cemetery because Cemetery Hill, falls into the cemetery. She's been thrown hard. It looks not good at all. And then the next on the right-hand panel, right, it's a big spread right? And we see somewhere in the middle is like XS, but the person who threw Skaterbrained is this super tall, like 7 feet, but just swallows up. The perspective of it is breaking through a few of the gutters, right? Is this huge black character, like black skin with all these red accents and these weird thorns, some kind of alien being known only as a Rampage. And Rampage is the person who's thrown Skaterbrain through the tombstone. And now we see her, because clever readers can see that there are some like secondary sexual characteristics that make Rampage, while alien, to appear to be a female alien type creature. She huffs and peers around trying to find XS. So XS, what are you hiding behind? Like a Wendy's cup or something?
Let's see here. I'm thinking that, oh, no, I know exactly where I am. There's like in the street, someone has thrown a cassette out on the street. It's got like all the tape all whipped around and everything. And she's like kind of in that forest, hiding by that cassette.
Fantastic, like a forest of all the tape, and we see we see like in giant letters, like half of K, half of I, half of D, and then half of an N, but then the rest of it's all gone because it's so, you're so small and it's so big. And then the voice of Rampage, as we hear,
little one, where are you?
Oh my God.
what do you do?
I think she's looking for, like, you could see her go look up, like around the periphery of Rampage. And essentially she's looking for something metallic that she could use her magnetic thing to sort of slingshot her towards Rampage.
Okay, easy enough. We have the wrought iron fence. I imagine that there's enough metal there to where you could try to slingshot yourself towards that. So
yes, that's
that would probably be the most obvious thing. So great. Let's have you go ahead and unleash some powers here. So let's walk through our die rolling. This is definitely something that is on the superhuman scale.
Okay.
So you'll be rolling D8s. And I think that you're using your own power, which is exceptional, right? You're making an attack here.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be rolling 2d8.
Okay.
And your difficulty, because Rampage is real tough, like you want to slingshot into her to harm her, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Your difficulty is going to be a 7.
All right.
It's tough.
It is tough. It's tough. I'm willing to try this. Let's see here. Oh, let me do a refresh. Oh no, it's just as bad as I thought it was. I have whiffed.
You've whiffed. Okay. First of all, yay. Second of all, you've got opportunities here. So the first thing that you can do is, if you feel that your drive applies to help you overcome this and do something even better, like your drive of love, then you just need to give us a little bit of a monologue. It could be a thought bubble monologue or something you say out loud in your pipsqueaky little voice. And then you'll get a reroll of those dice.
Yeah, I think it's like, I can't let her hurt Skaterbrain.
Awesome. I love it.
Right.
So reroll those dice and good luck.
All right. Her monologues are very short because she's very tiny. So.
Oh, that's a good point.
So I got a 6. I got one success.
One success. All right. So one success, you slingshot yourself forward, and due to physics and super science, you slam. Are you thinking you hit her in the breadbasket? Were you going for the chin? Because she's real tall. So imagine if you're using the wrought iron, maybe you've got to go lower. But you tell me.
I think that what I'm trying to do is like hit her ear as I'm going by. You know, that kind of like a smack there where it's like she knows that I've moved past. But does that make any sense? But it's that kind of that I'm going to keep on smacking you.
Her head snaps back, and she's like,
Oh, little one, I'm going to squash you good.
and she staggers a couple of steps and actually crushes the wrought iron fence with her hands. We see like the indentation and everything. She's obviously reeled by this, but knocked down, scatterbrained. I'm giving you a stress. I'm not even being fair. I'm just telling you have to have a stress because you got thrown over a tombstone. I've got canonical evidence that had to hurt. So I'm giving you a stress, but you can react now. You just got walloped by Rampage out of nowhere. And you know that Excess is trying to help you out. What do you do?
Yeah, so I think that I'm gonna like, do the wipe off of any like blood on my cheek, and then just kind of like my eyes narrow at Rampage, and it's like, you're gonna pay for that one, and starts like getting her goo bubbling to the surface of her hand so that she
Nice.
can
Like power up. It's awesome. I love it. So let's unleash. This is again. You're using your attack, so you're exceptional at that attack, and it's again superhuman scale, and so you're going to need 6s as well.
How many dice is exceptional?
You'll be rolling 2 dice.
2. Okay, yeah, I was pretty sure.
That's okay. We'll work through it. By sometime near the end of the 3rd session, we'll have it down pat. All of us, and we won't even need to reference it.
Oh wait.
And then we'll be done.
Okay, here we go. All right, I got a 4 and a 5, so no 6s.
Oh, no 6s. Now, do you believe that your drive of guilt, that you could gather a monologue as you throw out a few lava bolts, and one like hits off of her shoulder and
oh yeah,
doesn't seem to take her down? But yeah, what does that monologue look like? Is that an internal or external monologue?
I think it's an internal monologue. I think Skaterbrain is just thinking about, I can't let another person down. I have to defend the people of this town. I have to defend Excess.
Nice.
No
Reroll
matter
those
what.
dice. Let's see how it happens. See what goes down.
Oh gosh. Even worse
no.
than before.
Sweet. So you lob a few of those lava bolts of yours.
Can I help?
You could. You could
I'm
try.
like, I see what she's doing. Now's my chance. And I'm essentially going to slingshot myself back through her bolts and redirect them so Rampage is not aware of the trajectory. And we can.
All right. Go ahead and do one more reroll.
The roll 20 gods, or the roll for your party gods are not liking me today.
That's awesome. So you redirected it, splashes against her chest, and Rampage says,
You're gonna have to do better than that, girls.
and then she slaps Excess because you were redirecting, right? You're within her. And so she gives you 2 stress, and then she grabs up that wrought iron fence and uses it like a whip and slaps you again, Skaterbrain, and gives you 1 stress. And the 2 of you fall down, and Rampage starts stalking forward towards you, Skaterbrained. And as she does, she grows larger and larger in the frame, looming over you, blotting out the moon. And she says,
I only have to kill one of you.
What do you do?
So mechanical question.
Yeah.
I had stress from last time, so I'm now currently at 4 stress, which is a stress event, I think.
Yes, that's awesome. Sweet. So stress event. We've triggered a stress event. So let's talk about the stress events. So we have, so we have the options of anger, which means that overwhelming anger drives you to act in haste, perhaps lashing out in rage, or it could be apathy. You're cut off. You give up. You could be hysterical, losing your sense of grounding. And this is, by the way, let me share the rules doc. It's probably easier to read rather than just listen to me dictate, but I'll read as well. It is on page 19 and 20. So hysteria, anger, apathy, injury, self-doubt, a setback, which just means that you don't progress any further in what you're trying to do right now, shock, unconsciousness, or death. But it's comic book death, so it's not real death, unless you're Dark Phoenix, and then you'll never come back until you do. So I definitely see unconsciousness as a possibility. There could be like some really cool moments of self-doubt or other setback. What do you think feels appropriate for Skaterbrain to suffer right now from the last rough couple of days she's had?
I think that self-doubt seems pretty reasonable to me right now. I think that she kind of just like really dug deep for that last attack, and it did nothing.
Yeah, I love it. That's cool. Yeah, so that's perfect too, because you used your drive and guilt and it didn't pay off. So you have that moment of self-doubt, and she thunders towards you and says, I only have to kill one of them. XS, did you see Skaterbrain, the person you kind of idolized? There's a moment where you realize something's happened. Rampage just really got to her. What do you do?
I have to stop Rampage, I think. So I think, yeah, I think she's going to try to launch herself into Rampage's ear.
Oh, wow, that's insane.
Okay,
so the difficulty to launch into her ear is only going to be a 5.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, you got a chance here. Let's see you do it. So again, you're being exceptional, and it is superhuman scale. So 2d8, looking for 5s.
All right. I got a 5.
Might want to refresh. It looks like you got a 6 to me.
Oh, it did. It's our, yes.
Our die roller.
Seconds later.
Yay!
Yay!
Nice.
I got a 6.
So what do you like? What does that look like as you go into her ear canal?
I think it's the thing is that you see her, she's kind of going through and she kind of hits just above it, and sort of, there's this kind of weird, like she hits it and then you see her actually kind of have to scramble into the ear, the ear passage. And it's of a rampage, so it's all black inside. And so I think that what
are you doing? Oh, tickles.
Clawing at her ear, and you're in her head. But when you're in her head, it's gigantic, right? This is a 7-foot tall alien woman creature, and you're teeny tiny, so you could walk right in this weird ear canal where it's pitch black. She is absolutely distracted by the way, Skaterbrained, as you see her clawing at her ear and kind of stumbling around. She's kind of shoulder butts into a mausoleum, and you see all the stone cracks and the like, and she starts staggering away. Nexus, what are you doing in her head?
So I think we have that cassette of Istanbul, not Constantinople. And I'm just gonna hit play at the loudest possible volume that my suit can crank out.
Oh wow! So you're like making your suit into some kind of crazy speaker in her head.
Yep.
That's amazing. So you only need 4s or better, and again, exceptional supernatural scale. So 2d8.
Okay. Ooh, 2 6s. No, a 4 and a 6. 3 seconds later. 4 and a 6.
4 to 6 means 2 successes.
Mhm.
And she drops to her knees and howls in pain.
Oh, can it stop? Make it stop. This is too much. Too much.
She starts to hammer against her own head, trying to dislodge you, trying to knock you out. It's like patang, patang, and everything's vibrating inside. And then she just knocks herself out and falls down right in the middle of the cemetery.
Okay.
Scatterbrain, you witnessed like the other end of this, and you did hear some of that song, but it wasn't nearly as loud for you. And then you saw Rampage beat her head trying to stop it and then fall down. What do you do?
I think that Skaterbrain is probably gonna skate on over and maybe like humming the song, and then just kind of like put one foot on top of Rampage and just kind of say, "Hey, XS, that was pretty gnarly."
And she's going to crawl out of the ear and she's going to go, "Gross me out." As she crawls out of the ear.
It's like
everything's black, but it's
waxy.
it's someone's ear,
kinda,
right?
Yeah. Boy. Yeah, so that's a thing. And you see Rampage is there. She's like almost 7.5 feet tall, just this titanic horned tank of some kind of alien woman. And she has she's never been apprehended before. At least that's the lore about her that we'd probably see from XS's like digital readout or something.
Ooh. Well, I suppose we should, and I'll get far enough away and like go full size again and go, well, I guess we should, I don't know, restrain her then, right?
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
All right. What do you think she meant by she only had to kill one of us? And you could see XS is trying to drag her towards a lamp pole,
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Skaterbrain just kind of like she's kind of helping, but not really. Like she's kind of like lost in her own thought. So like I think that XS is really straining, and Skaterbrain's just like, yeah.
So she's like, do you think someone put like a hit out on us? That would be cool.
Yeah, I don't know if cool is the word that would come to mind, but trouble certainly. But
Yeah.
Do you think that means that she knows about the Gauntleteer, or somebody else must know?
Yeah, we need to figure out who asked her to kill us. All right, we'll get her over there and get her tied up to this lamp pole.
Sure.
Can I ask a question? Is this a suit or some kind of like effect that disables at some point? Like, does she go normal after?
She does not go.
Really?
She does not go normal.
So she's like perma alien.
Perma changed. Now, one thing I want to point out, there are ways to recover stress, like to reduce your stress.
Mm-hmm.
That is also in the doc starting at page 21. If you feel that your character recovers stress from being glib, funny, or chipper through acts of heroism. So I think by defeating someone who's supposedly never been defeated, I'll give each of you may reduce your stress by 1. and then also fulfilling your real life commitments, either in costume or your normal life. Those are a couple things, and there's another one that's triggered by a last gasp, but that's you're not in a last gasp, so you're
We're not
fine.
last gasping today. That's not our.
No last gaspirations.
No last gaspers. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll take that one for sure.
Okay.
And then let's see here. I guess we'll call the super villain hotline that you call when you've apprehended one. There's got to be one. So I guess you dial 911 and say, I've got a super villain here.
In the 80s, there's no like official super team right now because we're in that time when the first Guards disbanded, and there's no large team that is currently as part of the patrol, but they do have a maximum security supervillain prison. So you get patched through to them, and they take the quick report, and they say we're on our way. There's no problem, thank you, and then they hang up with you. And their response times, going to be within 5 minutes.
That's good.
Probably. I mean, for Cemetery Hill, maybe more like 10 minutes, but no.
The time thing keeps on telescoping out. Like, oh, I don't want her to wake up.
Would I be able to like maybe kind of make like a kind of, I don't even know, like a net glob thing to keep her in at least, or at least like.
That would be interesting. I think that would take some kind of superhuman effort with your exceptional skill. So.
Okay, that was 7 and a 4.
Okay, cool. So you pull out some of your lava lamp globules and create this net that traps her. And it's just hot enough, though, that it does wake her.
Good. I want to talk to her.
She shakes her head.
What's going on? That song.
That's right. I'll turn it up just a little bit so she can hear it.
She winces.
I think Skater Brain is kind of like dancing along to it, just kind of vibing. And she's like, isn't it such a jam?
I hate that song.
Why?
It hurts.
It hurts?
It hurts.
You're a loss. Hey, I have a question.
What?
Why were you attacking us? That wasn't very nice.
Helix wants you dead.
Who now?
Helix.
Why would he want to?
I don't care why he wants to. He's offered to fix me if I can take one of you out, and I'll do it. You think something can hold me? Nothing can hold me down.
Then she struggles, and it actually holds her down for now.
Nexus is like, what is it Helix could do that would fix you?
Helix is a digital power you can never understand. They were created by the world crash. They exist in video and in dream, and they can fix me. This thing that was done to me, they will fix it. That's why you have to die.
But you said only one of us had to die.
I'm not picky.
But why only one?
I didn't ask. Why don't you go talk to Helix?
We will.
All you have to do is go to Gauntlet City.
And the reason that statement is a little significant is that you're in New Gauntlet City.
Exactly. Oh, I go. So how do we get there?
Let me go and I'll show you.
No.
Well, then go spit. I'll break out. I'll come back for you.
I think I'm going to turn. Yeah, I think Excess turns and she goes, I bet she's out of sync too. That's probably what the song hurts.
Probably.
So means,
go ahead.
That means that we can use that to like sync ourselves, well, to determine who else has come from Gauntlet City.
No, that you're the brains here, Marcy. If you think it'll work.
You hear police sirens in the back, in the distance, coming closer, and then the rampage.
Oh, well, it seems like our conversation's coming to an end. It was terrible meeting you. I'll see you soon.
No, she's going to try something, right? I'm going to start by just making the music louder to start.
And she will growl for a bit, and then a huge, like, big kind of UPS truck-sized paddy wagon comes up, and several of the security forces from the penitentiary, which Rich can't exactly remember the name of, but I will find with searching.
It's a hard one.
It's like gray or something. It's Greystone, if I'm going to say, but I can't remember right off the top of my head. So, but yeah, the Correctional Institute shows up, and they are going to take Rampage away unless you guys want to do something.
Yeah, I asked for a receipt.
As for a receipt, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds great. Yeah. Actually, as you are handling getting a receipt, you'll see that the KNGC, the local TV station, one of their vans shows up, and a guy with a big honking, like, gigantic camera, and this young lady reporter comes running out. She says, "Okay, who is it that caught Rampage?"
I point to Skater Brain.
Skater Brain points to Excess and then is like, I'm just the help. I'm no one, and like kind of blasts away.
No.
So, guess what, Marcy? You've just been abandoned. So I'm going to give you a stress for that. And you've got a star reporter. Oh gosh, I haven't. So we're going to have to say that her name what's a great 80s first name? Darlene. We're gonna say that her Darlene. Oh no, she would not go by that. She is. Oh, it's got to be alliterative, right? It's comics. So yeah. Darlene Dodds.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Darlene Dodds.
That's like perfect.
Ace reporter for KNGC. Yes.
And you can tell she's shooting for an anchor seat with Darlene Dodds. That is definitely an anchor seat name.
Ace reporter.
Go, Darlene.
KNGC. She's going to make her bones interviewing the first person to ever capture Rampage, a supervillain who's scared and villainized people across New Gauntlet City for months. What's your name? And the guy's like, light comes on from the camera. Yeah, it's totally.
It's been kind of dark and extra dark, and she's like, excess, and she's still got her suit up, so you can't really recognize her. She goes,
excess. Oh, like some really rich girl. Yeah, are you doing this because you're some kind of dilettante?
Yes.
Oh, a dilettante who pursues supervillains on the side, she says to the camera. Excess, how did you defeat Rampage? This is one of the strongest supervillains in all of New Gauntlet City.
Correct. Here, I played this song at her, and I played the song because I wanted to hit the air. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it totally makes sense. And she listens to it for a little bit, and like, I don't really get it. What? And then the video camera starts to spark a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You see this like electricity kind of arc around the camera. What do you do?
Oh, that's interesting. I think I look directly into the camera and I say, I'm coming for you, Helix. And then I take off.
And the camera, like he throws it down and we see the crack-a-boom, crack-a-boom. It's like this cool onomatopoeia thing going on there. And she jumps back and she's like, are you okay? Did you get that? He's like, oh, I destroyed the tape. Because, everything's on tape.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Skaterbrained, where does Excess find you? Or are you gone? Like you left and not coming back?
No, she probably ducked into like a darker part of the cemetery where they probably won't go. She doesn't like people very much. They kind of scare her. People in general are not really her thing. So, and she figured it probably wouldn't be good to hit these people, so she was out.
Fair. So, Excess, you find Skaterbrain deeper in the largest cemetery in all of New Gauntlet City.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe we do like a little, if you guys are cool, like a little class-based thing. It's like in the paupers area of the older part of the cemetery.
Yep. I like that. So it's like there's the angel statues that are all the way through the cemetery. But here they're like older. They haven't been refurbished as much, but there's flowers and tags and little things left there, which they don't have at the Tony part of it because everyone keeps the grounds very neat and clean. So
nice. I like that detail. What do we see Skaterbrain doing when Excess finds her?
I think that Skaterbrain is probably sitting on top of one of the tombstones, kind of like fiddling with like one of the things that was left on the ground by it, just kind of like looking at it.
I think Excess will come up and go, hey, sorry about that. I didn't know that was going to be a thing.
No, you don't have anything to be sorry about. I'm sorry I bailed. It's just not really my scene.
Well, I didn't think it was my scene. But let me tell you what happened, okay?
All right, shoot.
She'll come and sit down and she'll tell you about the camera blowing up when she played the song.
Yeah, and I think Trixie's like scratching her head and just kind of like trying to conceptualize this. And she says, so the tape's destroyed.
Yeah, so it's not going to get on air. We're going to have to find some other way to get it onto air. I mean, radio stations? The thing is it's a future hit. Well, how are we going to get that song to them?
Isn't there a radio, like, doesn't somebody do a radio station at the college that you go to?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I mean, that one guy, oh, he's so, oh. Though, you know what? I think he's the guy that resells these cassettes.
Perfect. I think that we should probably talk to him. He might be able to help us with our
Okay.
little situation.
Let's see. And Rich, this is Time Skipper back when he was
Oh my
college.
goodness, that's amazing. This tickles me to no end. I am into it. Sure. Let me find Time Skipper for us. Wow, I can't believe we got Time Skipper. Sorry.
Of all the
Callback,
callbacks.
Of all the callbacks, Time Skipper. Here I'll quickly share with you Time Skipper. There's the look. Yeah, so Time Skipper, Hap Holiday, who travels through time in their year in an instant time yacht, a spherical time conveyance making past and future travel instantly available. Sure,
Yes.
Professor. Hap Holiday. That's right. So it'll be DJ Hap Holiday. I think this is before Time Skipper got the yacht, right? So you're seeing but occasionally there are deliveries from future Time Skipper giving the old Hap Holiday the business, the good stuff.
Yeah.
So
So
this
trying to get him some dates and stuff. He's trying to rewrite his own history. So
trying to make Time Skipper's love life less terrible. So Hap Holiday. Hap Holiday is there. We'll just jump to like excess as Marcy Wiggins using your school ID to get in. And I'm thinking that like the radio station is actually up a little bit on one of the hills, right? 'Cause Cemetery Hills. So it's higher up so that their radio tower can reach the entire city. And it's on the community. It's a community college, right? So it's kind of small. It's just a few buildings. So you drive along. What do you guys arrive in, or do you walk, or just how do you arrive at this place? I guess the question I'm asking.
I think I have a moped.
Nice.
Skating.
Nice. That is
Sometimes she
appropriate.
skitches behind my moped.
Yes.
Great. So the two of you arrive. There's like a front receptionist office, but this is late at night. We're gonna say it's like Friday night, right? Because Nick is out at the party that he invited you to. So late at night, and the two of you are here. And only person who's in, like they didn't lock the front door. It's the 80s who locks the door, right? So you come in, you look through the little studios off to the side, and you see Hap Holiday. Hap Holiday from our Time Skipper entry on the wiki, wearing a black t-shirt, but it's got to be 80s-ified. So there's got to be something on their black t-shirt that's very 80s. What is it? Whoever has an idea, throw it out there. I am into it. I'm sure it'll be perfect and great.
Well, now he's that kind of hipster dude, so it'd almost have to be Elvis Costello, wouldn't it?
I mean, that does feel appropriate.
Yeah. Even if he didn't like him, he'd have to be wearing that to signify that he's, listening to the British New Wave. Yeah.
There you go, Elvis Costello. So what's your latest interaction with Hap Holiday? Like, do you guys have a class together? How do you know Hap Holiday, Marcy?
I think that we have physics together. And the weird thing is even though he's kind of a weird hipster jerk, he's my competition for the curve, if that makes any sense.
Nice.
Like
That's
we're both really good at physics.
true. I mean, how else could Timekeeper have figured out how to use that crazy
Exactly.
yacht? So, year in an instant yacht. Okay. So, the two of you come into the main little foyer / waiting room. There's a studio. There's also like a larger studio here where if they wanted to, they could have a live band. But I mean, this is a community college. They don't get that many opportunities. It's mostly for polka hour, which is surprisingly, no, but that's
Popular.
Saturdays. It's
Yeah.
surprisingly popular, but that's Saturdays. And eventually Hap will recognize there are people outside and look, and they look out and see you, Marcy, and they scowl.
I scowl back.
Nice little scowl back and scowl back. But what about Trixie? What's her interaction like when you first see Hap here?
Yeah, I think that Trixie is thoroughly unimpressed. She kind of looks him up and down and then blows this like she always has like chewing bubble gum, and so she blows this like bright orange bubble at him and pops it aggressively in his general direction.
Aggressive bubble popping is just the worst. He's gonna be remembering that. So mean, so rude.
She popped a bubble at me. Oh, yeah, that sounds pretty terrible, Hap.
She's gonna get what's coming to her.
Cool. So, Hap, realizing you're not going to go away and you want to talk to him, will come eventually say, hey, I need to take a quick break. And when I come back, we'll be playing some of your favorites. And then Hap throws on cues up a series of commercials that should last for a few minutes. And they unplug the little pigtail cord and keep their headphones on and come out. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, remember that Flood cassette that you were kind of handing around a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I do. It's great, right?
It is great. But you know what's extra great on it? Istanbul, not Constantinople.
That's a little much for
And then
people.
she stops and she goes, no. It's exactly what's needed right now. And she kind of goes, like physics needed.
No comprende?
You should. Where did you get this?
I've got connections.
That's right. And those connections, what is it that they do to bring these to you?
They won't really explain exactly what's going on, but
Okay, so if I say that things are out of sync, would that make you feel a little bit worried?
so I think that's where we'll bring us to a roll to see how Hap Holiday's going to react to this.
Okay.
So we're working on a human scale,
All
which
right.
means you'll be rolling d4s. And I really feel like you're trying to use either your brains, quick wits, imagination. Yeah, I think, well, prowess is an intellectual skills and adaptability, but it really, yeah. Double checking because I know one of these is like, yeah. Okay. So between brains and prowess, which do you feel like you're, they're both the same. So what
The
do we
same.
like here?
It's irrelevant.
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 All right. Go ahead and roll 3d4. You are looking for threes.
Oh boy, that is unkind.
And then can I help? Like, I don't know if that. would
I'm
work
looking for
out.
threes. I got none. Can
Got
he?
none. All right. So what does this help look like? What's your monologue of you trying to help out Trixie?
I think that Trixie is probably going to like. She still has her skates on because she never wears normal shoes. So she's gonna skate up to him, and I imagine that she's maybe a little bit taller than he is, and she kind of looks at him and is like, "You need to tell my friend what she needs to know," and blows another bubble in his face.
Now he's starting to think it's some kind of weird turn on. He's super confused. Really does not understand women at all.
All right, I'm gonna try to re-roll on that. That was awesome, though. I got a 4.
Nice.
I got 3 4s. Excuse me.
Oh, 3 4s. Dadgum. That's too good. So Hap says, okay, yeah, that would be weird.
So
How do you know about all this stuff? Come on, Marcy, you're holding out on me. I know you're smart. Are you smart?
She stops. The reason I know about this isn't because I'm smart. It's because I'm lucky.
Oh, disappointing.
Yeah, I'm smart though too.
Okay. So what do you need? Why are you really here?
I need you to play this song. I need you to play it a little bit at a time, and then increasingly more often. If you could get other people to play it, that would be awesome.
What's in it for me? He glances between the two of you. What's in it for me? Gets a little bit more brave.
Yeah, and she sort of stops and says, "You live past the next week?"
That's it?
Trixie's gonna crack her neck and her knuckles at him and just be like, "Yeah, that's it."
Nice. I'll play your song, but hey, don't forget. I'm the one who helped you out.
I won't forget, but I won't throw an exam for you either.
Okay. I was thinking more like a date later, but okay, fine. That works too.
We'll talk next week.
And Time Skipper, aka Hap Holiday, I could take that. Guess there's a reason to be around next week.
And Excess will look at Trixie because clearly that's who he's talking about. So, and then she'll look back at him and nod.
Okay, well, nice not really meeting you, bubblegum blowing, neck cracking girl. And I'll see you next week, Marcy. Well, I'll see you at physics class, but then next week.
Yep.
For a date.
Yeah, Marcy.
Damn it.
She's reeling them in.
Got no kind of kindness.
So you will soon enough, as the two of you are heading away. Maybe Marcy, you've got the radio turned to, I don't know, what's the name of this community college? I don't know if we ever defined it by name.
Oh, well, it's GCCC, right?
Oh yeah, that totally feels right to me.
Yeah.
So GCCCC.
Well, no, so they're WG3C.
WG3C, totally. So WG3C with Hap Holiday cranking out the hits. And we've got a new one for you. Brand new. Hot off the presses. But you only get a blip. And then you hear a little bit of the beginning of your song.
Hey, you know, the polka people like it too, so
It's true. Polka was
an
supposed to come
accordion.
on. So,
Yeah. So, all right. So then that gives us a chance to find out about other people who are reacting poorly to that music. Ooh. Okay.
Nice.
So she steps and says, all right, seems like that matters. And here's the thing. Helix can get to us through video cameras and television. So
Looks like no television for us for the next bit of time.
but that is where I saw the Gauntleteer. Gotta figure out something that will help us sync that up. He definitely reacted to the song.
So
I wonder if it's protective or if it just draws attention.
what, the song?
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Do you think that that's how Helix is maybe controlling people? Because I mean, they did talk about, or Rampage did talk about. Oh, what were they called? World crash? Is that what she said?
Yeah. But that sounds like, I don't know, like computer program?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't know, but maybe.
Well, if it's computers, maybe we can find something out on the BBSs.
Awesome.
I'll send some questions out.
So just as a little bit of a heads up, the world crash is something that your characters would be aware of.
Oh.
It happened not long ago. Sorry,
That's
it
okay.
was a lot. Nobody picked up on it, so I didn't know if I needed to like explain it or if we'd like back into it. But anyway, the world crash is where there was this weird two aliens were in conflict, and one of them released a viral weapon that was some kind of psychic virus that transformed humans by giving them psychic powers briefly and messed people up. And Aeon, who is kind of like S.H.I.E.L.D., like they are here to protect Earth from alien entities. They failed to stop the virus before it got out briefly. So you probably saw news stories and even heard a few like hip hop songs about people who got crazy mind powers briefly before they were locked up and thrown away. So yeah, that's the world crash also affected Helix. That's where Helix came to be.
Oh.
Okay.
And so had we heard of Helix previously as part of the world crash stuff? Is this like a known entity or name? Or is this a new thing?
It's a new thing. But so if Helix has been around since then Helix is just hidden behind other people. Or Helix could be from Gauntlet City.
Oh, so like maybe whatever happened did something to Gauntlet City. I don't know. And so she's like, okay. So many things. Yes. We'll ask about the world crash. See what it has to do with music and
then we should
synchronization.
we probably need to figure out where this Gauntlet City is, because this is new Gauntlet City.
I know. How do you?
Go ahead.
She sort of stops and says, so it's Gauntlet City, just new Gauntlet City, 3 atoms over.
Maybe. I'm wondering if like my if we know someone that's been around for a little bit longer than we have, who might have any inkling.
Well, my dad, but I don't think that's what you mean. You mean someone really old, right?
Yeah.
Who's the oldest super that we know. That we know of.
If you could find him, the original Gauntleteer is supposedly still alive,
Who's he?
but he gave up the power cosmic, and Neon Hero and others have stepped in. So
He must be so bored. Okay, let's find him.
cool. So I propose that this will be the point where we reach the staple, the middle of the comic book.
Yep.
And we will take our break. Let's take a good 10 minutes bio break, and then we'll jump back in with you guys. We'll skip, like, it'll be daytime because we can't have all the scenes at night. You guys have to sleep and stuff. So we'll see you in 10 minutes.
All right. Sounds good.
Oh, hey. Is that a cat's tail I see?
Yeah, this is Smudge. My
Smudge?
little
What a
white
cute
cat.
name.
Yeah.
Cute.
She's pretty.
Yeah.
Or he. They are pretty.
She, yeah.
Oh yeah, the little smudge on the top of the head.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Neat. Okay. Guess ready to come back? Let me open my Diet Pepsi. Ah, I like it so much. One of these days, I'll have bajillion YouTube views, and Diet Pepsi will pay me money, and that's the dream. Diet Pepsi, I'll have a contract with even older guys can like Diet Pepsi and be cool. It's the choice of an older generation too, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what they're going for.
Yeah, that's exactly the wise place to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you saw the quick wiki link that I threw up, just so you have in your mind. The Gauntleteer, if he were in a MCU style movie, would be played by Jimmy Smits, who I love and is great, and he was in Star Wars, so he's awesome. So imagine someone has drawn comic book interpretation of Jimmy Smits as if he were in his 70s, 80s, and it's in the 80s, like, you know, older. He's old.
He's older, but of course he's in particularly good health, so he doesn't look a day past
Exactly.
54.
There you go. Doesn't at all. He looks great. But we'll see the two of you skating and mopeding, and there's this chain link fence. It's not brand new. And there's a house. I'm kind of imagining it looks a little bit like, have you guys seen the movie Up? Have both of you seen the movie Up? Kind of like the Up house, right? It's not surrounded by like gigantic skyscrapers. It's in the middle of a nice neighborhood in New Gauntlet City. Rich will now glance at the map. I think that where the Gauntleteer, Emilio, the original Gauntleteer, would be, it's probably in Gate District, which isn't too far from you guys. So easy enough to skateboard / moped over. And you hear dogs barking, someone mowing their yard, and there's a sidewalk, and there are like too many different potted plants along the sidewalk. Like, he spends a lot of time with these plants, obviously, but it's a little odd. But there's a little swing on the front porch, and as the two of you start walking up the sidewalk, you don't even get to the door when the door opens up, and you see Emilio's like 6'2", and in his younger days, he was obviously like an athletic man. He's wearing a bathrobe and a ratty white t-shirt, and you think boxers underneath the bathrobe, but he did cinch it because ladies.
Yep. Thank goodness.
And he leers at the two of you and says, I don't want any cookies.
You look like Girl Scouts.
What are you, 13? 14?
Trixie
Now
is
you're just
very
hurting
offended.
my feelings, sir.
Okay, you're not Girl Scouts.
No.
What do you need? I'm not doing interviews. I don't do interviews anymore. Everybody takes everything out of context. I'm just tired of it. So if you got your school paper or whatever, I don't care.
We just need to know how to get to Gauntlet City, sir.
You're in Gauntlet City. What is this, a joke? this some kind of dare? He looks past you, like maybe there'll be somebody else looking. He steps out. The sunlight hits him. He kind of squints a little bit.
No, sir. We're in New Gauntlet City. We need Gauntlet City. This isn't a joke.
Let's see if he believes you. The dice will tell us so. It sounds as if you are, Trixie, you're trying to use your quick wits and your intelligence to convince him of this. You're pretty ordinary at that. And this is human scale. You are going to need a 3 or a 4 on this single die roll.
Okay, what am I rolling?
You're rolling a single D4, a single 4-sided die.
Cool.
Just so you know, if you reroll one of those 4s, it will not come up a 4.
The 3.
Oh, you got a 3. That's perfect. He says, so you're like, we need the Gauntlet City. He says, are you serious?
Where the
Come inside. Come inside. And he turns, like pushes, he starts walking into his house. And so if you walk in and you see that there's a lot of dust on all the pictures on the wall, and there are all these pictures of like younger Emilio with other heroes of golden era, and like there's ribbon cutting, and there's one where he has his foot up on the side of some kind of giant robotic gorilla head, and there's all these crazy adventures and pictures that are just covered in dust and forgotten by everybody else. Plastic coat, like the plastic on the couch deal, and the place smells like cigarette smoke. And you see there are ashtrays at like every little thing. There's an ancient TV set there, as well as one of those old style radios, the kind that has the large, beautiful,
Seriously?
yeah, that's awesome.
And I think you see her go, oh, seriously? And go up this way.
And then there's this nice, kind of looks like a player piano. Obviously it's out of tune, hasn't been touched in a long time. No sheet music or anything there. And he shuts the door behind you and he says, You girls need to not be talking about Gauntlet City. New Gauntlet City is where you live, and that's where you should live. It's safe. There are heroes here.
Right. Except that the Gauntleteer is in Gauntlet City. And we're the only two that remember her.
Oh. That's not good. Stupid Neon hero. Terrible idea. Always try not to get involved with the kids when they take up the gauntlet, but she shouldn't have been using that sword.
Sorry, no offense, and she kind of surveys the area in which he's living, and she says, I don't think you have any right to be passing judgment on, well, anybody at the moment, and kind of like swipes her finger across like a part of the dusty like piano and like kind of blows on it and like.
Yeah.
You think it had something to do with the sword?
Maybe. I don't trust a spirit sword that takes in people's. That's not good. I told her. I went and I told her, I said, you don't want to be carrying something like that. Sword that eats people's spirits. She says she's got it under control, can't let it get into the wrong hands. And I said, well, it's in the wrong hands because somebody's using it. She said she wouldn't hurt anybody with it. And I said, well, yeah, but it just, okay, Gauntlet City. Gauntlet City's part of the American Empire. You don't want to go there.
It's the American Empire.
About to blow
Wait,
your
wait.
mind.
Is it a different dimension? Is it alternate Earth?
I never get to surprise anybody anymore. Kids with your radios, Walkman, and your CDs, and you just heard everything. Yeah, it's in another dimension called it's an alternate Earth where America went to pot, like worse than now, way worse. It's like nuclear bombs came down and people who were left behind started this empire. It's never was a new Gauntlet City there. They never started over. They just kept pushing forward. She's there. There are other heroes. They moved on without me. Move on without the neon hero.
No.
Girls want something to drink? I've got some milk.
And I think she sort of stops and she's kind of not thinking about it, but she's consolidating all the ashtrays into one of the coffee cans that he's used, and she's like dumping them all in there.
It's a big like JFG coffee can.
Exactly. She's like dumping them all in there and she's like, no, that wouldn't do. I mean, and she goes, I can think of 3 or 4 times you were rescued. I mean, just from the stories I know. And I'm not even a student of the Golden Age.
Golden Age. Call it gold because gold's the best metal. That's why they call it gold, not because it's old.
No, of course not.
So you've been there though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know all about it.
I do.
How'd you get back?
Well, remember the first guard, but she's dead. So sorry, can't help you there.
Okay, but what did she do?
White Diamond, she existed in she knew every alternate Earth version of herself, and they were always in sync.
So it is the thing about synchronization, isn't it? She turns back and I think she looks at Trixie and she goes, so it's like we've got to permanently sync up some place here so that we can pass through.
Is there like an overlay, like a place where all of these dimensions overlap in some place?
Yeah,
a place where we can synchronize?
Access points always move around, and that's really out of my expertise. And I don't have the gauntlet anymore. I'm just an old man.
But you used to have the gauntlet, didn't you?
Well, yes.
So you're still synced to it, aren't you?
Probably.
Then you should come with us. I mean, you should put some pants on first. But you should come with us.
Maybe a clean shirt too.
He looks down.
No, wait.
I haven't. I'll have to do the wash. He turns around. He starts walking towards the louvered doors in the back.
All right.
We'll do like turn the page.
He's doing laundry in the background. We're talking.
What do you guys do? Like, we see a few panels of you wasting time in the Gauntleteer's house.
Yeah, I think we're like cleaning,
clothing.
like Excess is cleaning it more nervously than anything else. So,
like coughing a few times. You've got a makeshift duster. What does Trixie do? Well, what are the few panels of what Trixie is doing while the Gauntleteer does laundry?
Yeah, so I think that she takes him up on some hot milk, and you see her like with like a mug of milk, like just kind of rummaging through all of his stuff, like not really caring that it's his personal items, just kind of like throwing things over her shoulder.
There's like a whole drawer of ribbons and medals and all this key to the city and everything.
Ooh, key to the city. Ooh,
City.
let's use that.
Could be helpful.
Yeah.
Nice. So then, after all those panels and you guys rummaging around and also cleaning the original Gauntleteer's house, we see Emilio. He is wearing this like purple shirt, and he's got, of course, the like Superman underwear, but it's like a bright yellow, and then purple jerkin that's the same color. Well, they were originally the same color, but the shirt's a little more faded than the jerkin, and some very sturdy boots. They all kind of sag on him because he just doesn't have the muscles that he used to in his younger days. And then, of course, he has like, matching the Underoos yellow rubber gloves. But actually, it would be rubber glove, right? Because the other one had the gauntlet.
Right, exactly.
So he's standing there with one glove. Then he pulls off the glove because he realizes it looks stupid.
All right. But still, when he comes into the room and he's dressed like that, I think she turns around and she goes, "Oh, cool, radical." Like,
I get like a ghost of a grin from him to hear the ancient uniform someone thinks is radical. So you need someone in sync. That's me.
Yeah.
You're going to need someone who can travel to the American Empire. You've been in contact with anyone?
Yes, a supervillain named Rampage.
That's a terrible name. Rampage. It sounds like something a little kid would go on. Rampage.
I wouldn't put her as brains forward. She's at least not in her current form. So I will make at least that excuse for her.
All right. Okay, so you think this Rampage knows how to get in and out of the American Empire?
I don't know. But I think that if we gave her an opportunity to escape, she would try to head back there.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, she mentioned that something about the world crash and some entity named Helix who's trying to, Helix wants us killed, but
one of us.
Yeah, one of us. So to prevent us from coming back and rescuing the Gauntleteer.
Oh. Wait. So there's something special about the two of you?
Yeah, we're synced up together. We remember the song that they changed. Do you want to hear it?
Sure. Is it
All right.
swing?
She says, well, close. And she'll play in Istanbul, not Constantinople.
Trixie's going to dance around to doing her little dance.
We've been working on.
It just keeps becoming more and more complex, this dance that you've worked out. He makes a face like, oh, I hate that song.
It's an old one, but this is just a reperformance of it. But it's specifically the one that seems to be the slice.
Slice of what?
The thing that's desynchronized between this world and that one.
Okay. You seem like a smart girl.
I am.
She is.
All right. So maybe we can figure out the synchronicity between the two of you and between me and Neon Hero, and we can bring together to figure out a way to go across without having to break that old Rampage out of jail. I'm not a fan of breaking criminals out of jail,
Makes sense. She was pretty set on murdering one of us, so. All right, let's go back to my lab.
Got a lab.
Of course I do.
Of course you do. All right, we'll take my car. He starts to walk towards the back. What,
I'm
what
like,
do you do?
Wait. What about my moped?
He just keeps walking.
Yeah, I don't really do cars.
Well, we'll meet you there. Write down her address. Hand it to him.
He looks at the address. You're in Cemetery Hill?
Yeah,
Place is spooky.
it's scenic. And she waves and they head out the door.
Nice. Cool. So we see the two of you, moped, skateboards, you start to take off. And then we see this kind of ZZ Top look, like ZZ Top car kind of looking thing, except not beautiful cherry red. As it like he goes and he like pulls off the tarp, and then he starts it up, and then he backs out of the little garage and he starts tooling away. And then next page over, he arrives at the very late because he stopped at every stoplight.
Super law abiding.
Very law abiding. Also doesn't want to wreck the nice car. And he pulls up, and you guys have been there for a while.
Yeah, we rode on the sidewalks and everything. That was just
So much faster.
walls. Yeah.
And then he comes in. He'll end up coming up and looks at your laboratory. This isn't half bad. What do you do? He points to you, Trixie. Just her friend? You're the sidekick?
No, she's the one that knows how to do all the super stuff.
Well, she's blowing bubbles, riding a skateboard. It's the most sidekick thing I've ever seen.
No, that's the cool thing.
She's like, I really don't care what you think of me. I really don't care. I think what you want. And she blows a bubble in his face and just walks up the stairs in her skates.
Like grabs a little bit of the gum off of his old crusty nose. Come up the stairs. All right. So you'll use the synchronicities and we'll sync everything up and you
do the synchronicity. Yep. And then we'll go, okay, so let's see what we get when you enter into the thing. We'll work the same synchronicity on you and see what we can see.
Nice. Cool. So let's have you go ahead. You are definitely doing something that is pretty superhuman.
It is. It's goofy.
And it's exceptional. That's one of your exceptional powers. So you're rolling 2d8 and you're looking for 5s or better.
Now, which thing? Am I doing manipulation or attack or defense, or am I doing?
Oh, that's a great question. So I feel like it's definitely a manipulation. It's not an attack or a defense. So it feels like you're manipulating things. That's why I was thinking it was exceptional. So you're rolling 2 dice.
But I have spectacular in manipulation.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong PC. I got a 50-50 shot and I looked in the wrong one. Awesome. So you're rolling 3 dice.
Okay, I got 3 dice and they're D8s.
Yes. You're looking for 5s or better.
Okay. I got a 6, a 7, and a 1.
All right. We'll count the 1. No, wait. The 6 and the 7. You just count the highest one. So your 7 count? Sweet. So are you imagining like with the synchronicity that you have like some kind of old TV set? Is because you said you wanted to view something. So I just want to see like.
Yeah, I think that what we have is an oscilloscope, if that makes any sense, which is, just the waveforms and that kind of thing. And and then there probably is a monitor, but it's more like, how do you say? It's all graphic. It's not video per se. It's mathematical.
Nice. You have a graphing calculator hooked in there or something?
Exactly. Like
nice.
5 of them. So you can
some linear shit going on. Love it. I love it. Cool. So
simultaneous equations, so many.
similar to like you can't really triangulate, but you're using point to point, trying to use the synchronicity, and it takes you some time, but you realize if you can use the same wavelength of you to Skaterbrained, like you can use that relational formula to figure out from Emilio to the Neon Hero. And from that, you find that other point. You find the second point in this graph. And while you can't really see this American empire, you get a bunch of readouts, and the overall like Geiger counter rating, like it is not good. Like it starts making a like terrible squelchy noise of very bad environmental situation. And yeah, but you think you've got that mapped.
Okay.
You think you can find it. You think you could draw it on a map if such a map between dimensions existed. You're going to have to draw one, obviously, XS.
Okay. So we will. Essentially, you're going to see her take a whole set of pencils and tie them to C-bars and essentially sync up this set of like parallel lines and essentially have her computer pushing out this plot line to do the mapping, and all of it's sort of like a seismograph in some ways, but it's actually doing a plotting of a map of sorts.
Nice.
And I assume that what it is it's giving us like that weakest point between New Gauntlet City and Gauntlet City for us to go to, correct?
Yeah, the point when the veil between the two dimensions is the lowest. Is that what you're looking for? And make sure I understand. Okay.
Yeah, so we're mapping the city versus time versus where that point exists. So we have a time and a place.
You realize as the map starts to come under, of course it doesn't have the neighborhoods broken out, but Marcy's smart enough, and maybe Trixie even picks it up because she's on the skateboard. So like she sees more of the city, right? Mm-hmm. You realize that not far from the Gauntleteer's house in Gate District is where it is lowest.
It's called the Gate District. No wonder. Excellent. So we figure out the time. We figure out the place. And then we set up camp at his house until the time comes. So we literally go buy a bunch of snack food.
Yeah, I'm starving. Why don't you have it here, Marcy?
I never have any time. We can pick something up on the way over.
Yes. Oh, come over to my place. I got a bunch of MREs. They stay forever. Got all kinds of food.
We'll go through Burger King. Yeah, we'll go through Burger King.
Stuff will harden your arteries, kids.
It's flame broiled. It's delicious.
Soul food right there.
Nice. So you guys go through the Burger King drive-through. I imagine that Skaterbrain like skates through the drive-through.
Oh yeah.
Of course, totally moped, and then ancient. I don't know what the ZZ Top, like what model car that is, but now I want to know. So
yeah, now
model of ZZ Top car. A Ford Coupe. Yep. There we go. Nice.
I knew it was a Ford, but I didn't know what.
Hot rods you should know. Cool.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's a pretty car.
Mm-hmm.
Except
they were
his
ugly,
is not.
Ugly guys. It sort of made up for how homely they were.
It sort of did, yeah.
Sort of did. They were
but
pervy, awful looking guys.
They were pervy. Like the lyrics to their songs are really not appropriate.
Most of the 80s really wasn't appropriate.
It's true. It's very true. 1933 Ford Eliminator is what this one thing says. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so you guys go, and I mean, is it midnight? Like, is that switch from one day to another the point when the veil is the lowest? You guys can traverse to the American Empire, or do you think there's some
that's
other?
like that's the axis, of the thing, but it is based on the synchronicity, so it's a little bit after that. Like when
Yeah, I feel like it's a super specific time, like
Yeah, it's
12:07 or something like
yeah,
that.
12:07, 3 seconds.
Nice. You guys are like synced your watches.
Mhm.
And I totally like, I think that Trixie has like a few swatches maybe. So it's hard
Oh,
to
yeah.
synchronize though, because there's no numbers on them. But I think Marcy's got the calculator.
Oh,
Is
yes.
Marcy a calculator watch?
Yeah, I've
kind
got
of
a
girl?
total digital.
Timex?
The digital watches. They're
Mm-hmm.
kind of big and chunky. Like Apple phones are, or the Apple watches are now. But all they could do is tell you the time to the second. That was their big innovation.
To the 100th of a second, man.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh?
Well, it's going to pay off now because
Yes, it is. I packed
Cool.
some extra, graphing calculators to go with me in case things go awry. I have
Nice,
to
and-
recalculate.
so you know it's at 12:07. At like 12:03, Emilio says, "So, do you girls know how to fight or defend yourselves?"
Trixie just kind of looks at him and just kind of glares. Yes, we know how to defend ourselves.
Okay,
Do you?
more or less.
We'll look out for each other. She
All
does
right.
all three.
Sweet. And then we turn the page, and the next thing that we see is this gray and sepia toned landscape. And there's like this row of like rocks, and mixed in with the rocks, we see a few like bleached white human skulls. And then we see this tank tread come rolling over it. And then it continues to roll on. It's like the Star Destroyer moment in the first Star Wars, where it like just keeps going. This tank tread kind of keeps going for a little bit. And then we pull back, and the top of the tank is made to look like this like horrifying metallic human mask, like a mask that would be held over someone, like a Man in the Iron Mask, right? It's got the kind of the holes for teeth, and then instead of a nose, it's this giant howitzer. And after that passes by, we see that there is excess skater-brained and the ancient original Gauntleteer. And this place looks like it's been nuked. Like, have you ever seen the video game Fallout, where it's just like no trees other than just these sticks, these like burnt sticks up in the ground? And there are a number of tanks that are dotting through the landscape, and there's this small remnant of what looks like used to be Gauntlet City. You can recognize a couple of the oldest downtown buildings. They hang up like these kind of crooked concrete skeletons. And Gauntleteer looks around. Okay, we're here.
She goes, like, where are the people?
He gestures. Imperials keep everything downtown. Most everything else is ruined. There were a bunch of fallout shelters in the downtown area near the river. Don't drink the water.
It's okay. I still got a soda. She holds up her Burger King soda.
Rot your teeth out, kid.
What a way to go.
So We see the three of you working through this post-apocalyptic, irradiated nuclear wasteland of a landscape. So, Trixie, what's one thing that you see along the way? We see Skaterbrain witness that reminds you of home, that this is some kind of topsy-turvy mirror version of the home you came from.
Yeah, so I think that we're actually walking on, and like I think we actually walk past one of the skate parks that I used to frequent as a kid, but it's not a skate park. It's like it looks almost like it was another like penitentiary or something, but it seems to
Nice.
have been like demolished.
Nice. And then, Marcy, what's something that you recognize that is now broken and forever lost in this version of Gauntlet City?
Gauntlet City had built, particularly through the gate region and a whole bunch of things, a set of like a trail of history. And the thing was is that it was like there were guides and stuff, but there was braille on like all the plaques. So that like you could go down the street and there would be like this little beep, where you could hear the signal that there was a plaque or historical thing there. Of course, people could go and read them, but then also if you were blind, you could read it. And it's like she could still hear the beep, but when she looks for the plaque, it's all melted.
No more bumps, no more braille.
Yeah, no more words, like the history's all. And that was like
Erased.
something that was done when she was a tiny kid, but she remembers going with her parents.
Nice. Cool. So you guys reach the downtown area. You see the place that would have been where Aeon's embassy is, which is this like alien structure that defies a few laws of Earth physics in your New Gauntlet City, but it never was constructed here because of the bombs and the wars that ruined everything. But there are a few of like Town Hall. You can see, while it looks like it's half standing, you can recognize enough of the architecture to know that that's where it used to be. So, Trixie, how do you hope to find Neon Hero here now that you've reached the downtown? What Marcy has done has gotten you guys close enough, but it's not an exact science. So Trixie, how do you plan on finding?
Yeah, I think that Trixie is kind of assuming that I think that Trixie probably ran into the Gauntleteer a couple of times during like before all of this happened, and I think that there were a couple of spots that Trixie was like, yeah, that's where I normally saw her, and so like I feel like there was like a specific spot in the cemetery back at home, where she would kind of just like sometimes be. So I feel like checking those usual spaces is what Trixie is thinking about, and then maybe hoping that the Gauntleteer maybe has some kind of connection with the Gauntlet anyway. So.
Cool. So let's have you make a brains roll. And we'll say that finding someone here is going to be on the human scale, just finding people. And you're ordinary at brains, so you'll be rolling 1d4, and you're going to need a 3 or a 4 here to pull this off.
Very good. 1d4. Submit. Ooh, I got a 1.
Oh. So do you want to try to do an internal or external monologue for a reroll, or do you want to try to depend on some help from others and maybe they'll figure out a way? What do you want to do?
I think that we're going to go with an internal monologue, at least for right now. I think
We can fall back on the assist if necessary.
I think that actually this can actually be an external monologue, and then we'll play with the scatterbrained thing. I think that she's talking out loud, and I think she's saying, well, I remember this one time she was here, but she could have also been over here, but I can't. And she's like trying to calm herself down because this is all a lot right now, because like her childhood like skate park is no longer there, and it's just a lot. So she's just kind of taking a deep breath and being like, okay, focus. And so we're gonna re-roll. That was a 3.
Nice. So it takes a little bit of self-speak. You have to kind of really think through things, but eventually you remember one of the points where you had seen her before. And when you head to, let's say it was near this area that lies between where the Aeon Embassy would have been and where City Hall is, there was this small area that had statues for the members of the First Guard. And you had seen her there a few times. And when you head there, you see that there's like half of a couple of the statues look like they have been sheared off. And one statue of the Gauntleteer of Emilio has fallen, and they've just left it there, kind of like, you know, ruins of ancient Rome, right? So there's like it's calcified a good bit, and there's all those kind of green cracks where all the rain has caused it to split further and further and further. And Skitterbrain, when you get there, you feel like, oh, this is the spot. This is where you'd seen her before. And Emilio says, yeah, I feel something too, but I don't see anybody. Like I said, there are a bunch of bomb shelters. We may have to go underground.
Okay. And that's interesting. Do we know anything of the bomb shelters that were in the regular Gauntlet City?
What do you think that XS might have studied or known about?
Well, here's the thing is she probably would have been, I mean, it just sounds like the kind of thing that you would have had school trips to, right? Like to go and see, essentially, oh, back when we were all afraid of the nuclear war, but now that, Germany has knocked down the Berlin Wall and all that stuff, we don't have to worry about this anymore. So like going to see the fallout shelters that were under City Hall.
Sure. And the reason it was under City Hall is that so that all of the officials of Gauntlet City could quickly evacuate, along with the head of the police department, the fire department, and all of the officials who could continue the city running during the worst times of the bombing, all that stuff. Yeah, you have been to this particular bomb shelter, which is quite large and spacious, had 50 years worth of food stored there, and yeah, you remember it, and so you can find that there is, sure enough, a little bomb shelter kind of hatchway located near this statuary that in modern day has been, kind of closed off, sealed. It's not a thing that you guys deal with in New Gauntlet City.
All right.
We have the thing of like the animation of the half moon of it being lifted up, and then there's some set of ladders leading down.
All right. And I think as we're going down, turn back to the Gauntleteer and go, what is it like down here for the people that are there?
It's not good. Some people, they were down here when the bombs came and they're normal, and there are others who were changed.
Okay. Let's go.
So he cracks his knuckles a little bit and then starts to head down after the two of you and pulls the kind of cover back over, and it is dark. Trixie, being the lava lamp girl that you are you the light source?
Yeah, I think that I'm kind of concentrating so that like my kind of goo essence is kind of like right at the surface of my skin. It's not turning into a globule, but like I'm kind of glowing. Like,
Nice.
yeah.
Sweet. So the ladder goes down for several hundred feet. There's a moment when Emilio, like his hand kind of slips a little bit, but he catches himself. And then as you guys are very near where you see there's a railway underneath here, all of a sudden a couple of shafts of light highlight you, Marcy, and you hear someone call out, "Hey, stop what you're doing. Come down slow. We don't want to have to shoot you." What do?
I think, like, I look so that the light shafts are like on my face and everything. And then when they're sort of centered there, I shrink so that I go out of their sight.
Nice. But where'd you go?
Oh, no.
They start firing.
I didn't expect that. What a bunch of hooligans.
hey, watch it.
Cool. So, yeah, you see Marcy like drop down. Now you're excess, right? And a couple of bullets pass by you, and there's as big as you, but you're falling, and you can kind of bounce off of the ladder and get your way down. There's no way they can pull a bead on you, but they see the glowing girl, like, "Oh, take out the glowing girl!" And so now they're firing up the ladder towards you, Trixie. What do?
Well, if they're firing at me, I'm gonna like. I'm startled, so I think that a couple globules are probably going to projectile at them.
Awesome. Cool. So these are ordinary foes. They just happen to have Tommy guns. So you're on a human scale, but you are using your exceptional attack. So you only need 3s or 4s, and your exceptional attack will allow you to roll 2 dice here. So 2d4, you got a pretty good chance of success.
All right, I got a 3 and a 1.
A 3 and a 1. So I'm going to say that you take a stress as you are, maybe you get a glancing blow, maybe like a little, a flesh wound. That's what they call it, right? Like you get tagged a little bit, but those globules come forward. And you imagine that like Trixie threw the glove to take out the guns, like threw them at the guns themselves or at the people. Like, what do you think it looks like as you take out these 2 guys with their weird Tommy guns?
Yeah, I don't think I was aiming to hurt anybody. I think I was aiming to like maybe incinerate the guns themselves.
Cool.
So yeah. And my stress thing triggered a stress event again.
Yes. Perfect.
Gotta stop
Good.
and heal sometimes. So I keep forgetting.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do. Okay. So do you think this is time for a setback, an injury, or some kind of emotional reaction like shock, hysteria, apathy, or anger?
I think hysteria sounds about right. I think she's a little traumatized right now.
Did just get shot. That's pretty big.
Yeah. And I mean, she's a pretty minor hero. This is all like really like big league stuff. Like,
nice. So you're hysterical. You like turn and threw all this stuff down. Maybe you make your way the rest of the way down the ladder, and the Gauntleteer comes down with you. And how do we know that Skaterbrained is hysterical? Like, what is she doing?
yeah. So I think that you can't really tell if she's crying or laughing. So she's crafting. And I actually think that we see her like take something out of her pocket, shake it, and like do the inhaler thing, and that she is an asthmatic individual.
Nice. I dig that. That's cool. So XS, you drop down. You didn't get hit by any of the bullets. You saw Skaterbrain take out the guns on those guys, and they run away down the path. They're headed back into area where people could stay and safely live during the bombs. The deeper into the bomb shelter itself. So you have just a moment. What do you do now that you see that Trixie is? I don't know. She's not quite as aloof as she'd seen before. She's kind of lost her cool a little bit.
Yeah, I think I kind of reappear full size, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't expect that. I'm so sorry. And I think that she's like right there in front of her going, I'm so sorry. That easy target person in case you need something to take a swing at. So.
Whoa. So the best way to overcome stress is through humor, reminding yourself of your commitments, or some kind of heroism.
Oh, good. Well, then don't hit me.
Yeah, I probably don't want to punch her. I mean, it would be good for the comic, but no, I'm joking. It wouldn't be good for the comic. It would be really weird. And I think Emilio will also be really concerned, and he'll kind of hold your shoulders. Then the next guy gets in the face, so it gets out of the way there. So you two know each other way better. This is, hey, pat your back. It's okay. Skaterbrain, it's fine. You did great, kid. Here, and he'll reach into his little utility belt and pull out this ace bandage, and he'll start trying to bandage your little flesh wound.
Oh, nice. She's like,
Oh my gosh.
oh my gosh, you got hurt. Oh no. And I think that she's going to try to help too. And essentially what it is you've just got like two people super trying to help you at this moment.
Nice.
Yeah. I think that's a lot for Trixie. I think she's like, stop it. And kind of like skirts back and is like, time out, pause, and kind of looks over at the Gauntleteer and is like, is the Band-Aid Hello Kitty? I only like Hello Kitty Band-Aids.
What's a Hello Kitty?
Never mind.
It's
I'm
a
fine.
good solid ace bandage.
When we get back, we'll get you some Hello Kitty bandages.
Okay. So I think from the care and concern that both of them have tried to show Skaterbrain, even though she's not exactly open to that stuff, I'm gonna have both of you guys knock off a stress, but you're not gonna recover a whole lot of stress until you really open up. You guys are just a little too cool for that quite yet.
It's just a little freaky right now.
Yeah, it's probably not a good point to like have an open emotional conversation since you're in parallel Earth that's been irradiated.
I'll go ahead and see what's there. Okay? That's what I do well.
Be careful, Marcy.
Okay.
So Skaterbrain and Emilio, the two of you will kind of move off to the side of the tunnel, and then XS shrinks down, and then she'll tink, 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 run along one of the two rails in the little kind of railroad set up here. So XS, I'd like to see, as you're sneaking in there, I'd like to see if you're able to sneak in without causing any distraction or problems. So
Makes sense.
I think that deafness feels like it might be the thing that might apply here.
Okay.
That said,
right.
though, I think maybe we'll just use your manipulation ability because you're super shrunk. So we'll do that instead. So
That sounds
manipulation
awesome.
spectacular. Yeah, your manipulation is spectacular. Your superhuman scale here, so you're rolling d8s.
Okay.
But you're going to need 7s to avoid notice.
What?
They are aware that you guys are here. They just shot at you with bullets.
No,
You
but I'm
disappeared, so
tiny.
you
All
are
right.
tiny. It's just
All
doesn't
right,
make
I'm gonna
sense.
go for it. I got a 7 and 2 6s.
All right, with
Like
your
super
7.
close, even on the other ones.
Woohoo.
So you move along the guardrail, or not the railing, and you're able to see where those guys have gone. Those 2 guys who had shot at you, they're nervously talking to each other, and you see another one of those ancient radios with glass tubes and everything that you saw at the Gauntleteers. But this one has different, like, it's English, but it's almost like an old English writing around everything. And it's on, like you can hear the hum of it having power.
Oh.
And yeah, so that radio, the 2 guys, they're like talking to it. So yeah, they're on the way, and one of them she turned invisible. And the other guy says, "Yeah, we ran them off though. I hit one of them. I winged her real good. There's no way they're coming back." Then the radio intones a voice.
You fools. If I want something done right, I have to do it myself. Go and hide and watch over the crystal.
And the 2 of them, they nod as if the radio could see them, and they head in deeper into there's like a vault, like, and they open up the vault and head inside, and then the radio continues to hum with power. What do you do?
Interesting. This is Helix, I think.
Seems like it.
And he can hear what's coming through here.
Now you know why you had to roll 7s or better.
Yeah. All right. And I know that he uses the video and stuff. I think that I'm going to go and set a bomb in that receiver.
Okay.
An Istanbul, not Constantinople bomb.
Oh, sweet. So this is like, how do you imagine this bomb works? Because I imagine before you were using your suit to like run the
Exactly.
music through. Are you the bomb, or do you have some kind of like other? How does this work?
I think that what it is, she's brought like her graphing calculators and some of her stuff with her. That's like with her, and it shrinks when she does. I think that she literally has to like step out of the sight of the thing, grow tall, take her Walkman out, take a copy of the cassette, and essentially a timer, and set that up so that essentially that will broadcast back through everything. So she's like kind of going to carefully take the back of the thing off.
Disassemble your little Walkman and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So we'll have you do that. We're going to cut back to like in the darkness of this dank, stinky tunnel. We have Skater Brained and Emilio, the former Gauntleteer, kind of hiding out. He says, "I never used to have to hide. Hiding sucks."
Yeah.
You okay? You seem like you took a real tough time there.
Yeah, it's just a lot to deal with,
Well,
1 minute.
yeah, it is. You're doing great though.
I'm sure you've never had any issues with this. I mean, you're the freaking Gauntleteer, right? Like,
before I figured it out, you know, I had all kinds of trouble with the gauntlet. It didn't really, I didn't think it wanted me for the longest time, but we figured out a way to work together, you know? It really took me trusting it and it trusting me.
I think Trixie looks off in the direction that Marcy went, and kind of looks back at the Gauntleteer and says, I think I'm working on that right now too. I think it's a skill.
We cut back to excess as you try to whip together and rig up this sonic attack device. So we will be working on the superhuman scale because only a super genius inventor could do something quite like this.
Ridiculous. She
It
thinks
is
nothing of it.
pretty ridiculous. So let's go ahead and have you roll with d8s. And what do you think? What do you think you're using on this?
Oh, let's see here. Well, either manipulation or gadget spying, or even gadgets lab. I think any one of those. I don't know. What do
Okay.
you think?
Sure, I think they all kind of looks like all those are that you've listed are pretty spectacular. So
Sorry.
it's all right.
Oh no. Okay, so I will try spectacular. And what am I trying to get here?
You will. We'll say you need 6s or better.
Okay, it's hard. But I got a 6. Oh, I had a 6 and a 7. But now
Oh
I just
man, I
have
watched them all change.
3, 4, and a 6.
Let me refresh just to make sure that your failure is complete. Okay.
No, it's not a full. Oh my God, it is. What the heck?
I saw
I had a
it.
6 and a 7 and a 4, and I sat there. Oh my God. Oh,
It's the best failure ever. Do you wish to exert a monologue, or shall we?
Yes, I will monologue.
I need a good monologue here.
She goes, can't fail Trixie again. I was such an idiot. Gotta get this right.
All right. Another short monologue. Reroll those dice. Good luck.
Started out all about the Gauntleteer, but now it's all about Trixie. Oh, even worse? No, wait, maybe a 7. I don't know. I don't even trust it. I have.
It is. It's a 7, a 1, and a 4. So with that 7, you realize that maybe the battery was in backwards. You refix it, and everything's good.
And I put a penny in.
Totally have to stick a penny in. Yes, that's the cost. Cool. So you turn on Istanbul, not Constantinople, and we cut back to Trixie, who just finished on working on that right now. And then you hear the beginning, that weird, it's like a violin, right?
Violin, and then it goes into accordion and violin.
Accordion and then like a bass guitar going on there. So yeah, that starts playing, and I think Trixie does her dance, which is getting more and more intricate as we go. And then as you have activated this song, you see,
What? No!
And the radio sparks for a little bit, and then the glass tubes explode, and then the power just, and then power dims, and it powers down
For the whole place?
for the weird ancient radio device thing.
Good. All right then. So we are going to bypass that. And hopefully Helix has a big headache and we'll have a chance to get in and find the Gauntleteer.
Cool.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Like as soon as that happens, Gauntleteer, Trixie, you're like, let's go. And so you guys move along and you catch up. Well, I mean, how do you know if you catch up with Excess? Because she's tiny. But the 3 of you go in.
You can feel her on your foot as you go by, like she's jumped on. It's like on your shoelaces holding on.
And there's this huge ancient vault door here now that you face. How do you want to try to open this thing up? You know that on the other side, or is this thing crystal or whatever that Helix mentioned?
Yeah.
It's
So
locked.
it's like a pressure thing, right? Or a lock.
Yeah, it's a kind of vault that like is on a pair of hinges, and then when you spin it on on either side, it will these like huge bolts pop out. So it's a very mechanical device. You could possibly try to pick it or burn it. I don't know, whatever
Yeah,
you guys.
I could melt it.
That would be a slow melt. What we could do though is melt the hinges and then just push the door in.
Nice.
Should we try
All
that?
right. Let's have Trixie pull this off. Scatterbrained, you are using superhuman scale, and I believe that you are using attack, so you're exceptional at that. 2d8, you are looking for 5s or better.
Okay, gnarly. All right, a 7 and an 8. Yes.
So what does it look like when you burn off the hinge? Is it just like fall forward and clang loudly, or is the thing like, what does that look like when you finish up?
So yeah, I think that Trixie is kind of like squeezing her hand over the hinges so that it kind of like the goo kind of drips down,
Oh,
and it kind
that's
of
wicked.
sizzles. And then I think that the door like kind of like it takes a moment, and then I think that Trixie kind of pokes it, and it just kind of falls down.
Nice. Sweet. So the door falls, I guess, towards you guys, feels like because they closed it and you're at the hinges, so it seems like it will fall forward towards you guys. But you move out of the way. It's not like you're in any danger. I'm just like physically trying to, or like mentally trying to figure out the physics of it to a degree. Sweet. So it falls in, and you look into the area where they had all the food storage, and there are a few guards, and you see that one of them is holding what looks like that spirit sword that you've seen the Gauntleteer, the neon hero, use. And that guy says, "Kill them all!" But they don't have you took their 2 guns that these guys had, so they were going to rush forward and try to beat you guys up.
That's cute.
Not good thinking there. Let's see here. All right. I think that when the door comes down and we see those guys running, you'll see Excess has been standing there in her suit, and she does the shrink again. And you know that she's waiting for you to take that first move, and she'll follow up. So she's following up with whatever Trixie does.
Yeah, so I think that Trixie's still got her skates on, and I think she's barreling into these guys. Like she's using her roller derby stuff, and she's just like pummeling.
Sweet. One guy slips around you guys, but the Gauntleteer like goes up to fisticuffs with the guy. They start duking it out, but you've got to face the mass of the rest of them. So they're ordinary level, and you are not. So you'll be rolling d4s. You only need a 2, 3, or a 4. I assume you're using your exceptional attack.
Yeah.
So go ahead and roll 2d4, looking for a 2, 3, or 4. There's a very high chance of success here.
All right, 2 3s.
Nice. So it's just like roller rink. Like you zip down in there and I guess clothesline one guy and shove one into another. It's just crazy. You take all 6 of these guys down in no time flat until finally Excess, you realize you don't even have to back her up. Like she's just on top of it.
And
But
I'll
then,
soften up the guy with the spirit sword.
oh, will you now?
Yes.
He is an ordinary guy, but he is holding some kind of ancient, powerful weapon.
Yep.
So
But I have a very mini soul. So we'll
you
see if
do.
it can home in on me.
All right, you are
So-
being. This is unfortunately on the superhuman scale, even though he is dealing with powers he ought not to.
Okay. So what do I need to roll?
You're going to be making an exceptional attack, right? 'Cause
Right.
you're
So
using
rolling
your-
2d8. Got that.
Yep. And
But-
you are looking for 5, 6, or 5s or better is what you're looking for.
Okay. Roll for your party. I see an 8.
I don't
And
see
it's-
an 8.
Oh no. You see a
After
7.
it's 3, 7, and a 4, but the 7 is good enough.
The 7. I only rolled 2, so I rolled a 3 and a 7.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But
so-
why did I even say the 4? Like, I'm just going to delete those so that I don't get confused again. All right, awesome. So the 7 is good enough. Now you're super tiny.
I'm super
So
tiny.
what does it look like when you disarm this guy with the spirit sword?
Oh, it's me taking out his hand. I like literally smash into, essentially, he has to hold it. She goes.
Oh, so you're like
right.
magneting into to mash his fingers, and
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
man.
Just taking out his ability to hold this thing.
You're like, I'm sorry, but like, you break his fingers, and he lets go, and it falls down and lands on the ground. And I'm kind of, wow, I'm going to use a reference that I don't know if Laura's ever heard of, but I'm kind of imagining that this spirit sword's a little bit like the sun sword from Thundar the Barbarian, right? Like, kind of has that animated flicker light kind of thing going on, and it falls to the ground, and then he crumples because you just hurt him real bad.
Yeah, and I
Skater-
yelled, "Don't touch that!"
Nice. And Scatterbrained, you've taken out all the rest of the guards. This guy's kind of he's sliding away. He's kind of on his butt and he's sliding away. All these guys, you realize now that you've taken them out and you have a little bit of like a few seconds in the light of the spirit sword to see them, you see they're all wearing like army fatigues. They're kind of like, they're worse for wear. A lot of them are threadbare, but all of them look like they were wearing similar style of uniforms. Perhaps you see this weird kind of war eagle symbol on all of them. And Gauntleteer says, soldiers of the American Empire.
They look a little worse for wear now.
Yeah.
Did you get any sense of where the gauntlet is?
He points to the sword. I think
What?
she's in there.
I think Trixie's gonna go up and inspect the sword and like look at the hilt and see if she can see
Awesome.
anything.
And so when you pick up the sword in your hand, as you look at it along the blade, you recognize the like side of her hair shaved, cool kind of swooped over cornrows, the blue lipstick of the neon hero as you see her face there in the spirit sword. And that is the last image of this issue of our comic.
No.
Issue 2, you have found the Gauntleteer in the American Empire in the Spirit Sword. So, hopefully that wasn't too terribly too soon. What? It's the Empire Strikes Back ending, right? It's the second issue. It's got to be that way. Cool. So, let's take a moment. Let's just kind of shake it out. End of our Hearts and Souls second issue of 3. And if you guys, do you might need a bio break or anything before we do Stars and Wishes?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Rock on. So end of issue 2. I feel like we've got the rules pretty much like down pat. They're super simple. I think that I was overcomplicating anything about them. They're easy peasy. we got to see some monologues, and that was super fun. And I think setting some higher difficulties really helped to unlock those aspects of the system. So I'm glad I felt more comfortable and took some chances to setting higher difficulties there. We had some cool fights. We had some crazy hijinks. So all in all, now we move on to stars and wishes. What we'll do is we'll start with wishes, and then we'll do a round of stars. Stars after that, right? So we start with wishes so that we end on the high note of all the good stuff. Wishes are absolutely, for the last issue, what are the things that you like, hey, we put this out on the table and I definitely want to visit this, bring to some kind of resolution, bring it to a close, anything along those lines. And then if there are any, this aspect of the system is a little wonky for me, I wish that it were extra Y. We don't have to like change the system while we're talking, just to highlight aspects of it where it maybe isn't firing for you. And then I can try to work on it during the intervening weeks. So Laura, what wishes do you have from our session?
No, yeah. More of the same. I mean, this is really great stuff. One thing that I like, just like for systems wise,
Mhm.
I kind of want there to be a little bit more with the stress stuff, because I feel like, I mean, especially for these characters, I feel like are like really out of our heads here, right? Like we're like pretty minor heroes. It's crazy stuff. It's a bunch of kids. I don't know what exactly I'm looking for. I feel like there should be a more play with it. I don't know.
Sherry, is
She's breaking
Laura's
up.
okay? Your audio is kind of cutting in out. It hasn't all session long, but for some reason it got weird for a bit there. So I'm trouble hearing you.
It might have been that I was trying to plug in my computer. Is this better?
Yes.
Way better.
Okay.
So you were talking about stress, and you said, "Hey,
Yeah.
we're a little over our heads." So can you kind of cue that up again?
Yeah, so I was just saying that I want the stress to be a little bit more, like, I don't know, I want it to play more of a role. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like these characters in particular, like, they're probably dealing with a lot right now. And I don't know.
No, I hear you. I like the stress event was okay, but it was weird. Like it caused a reaction, but then like like I'm not sure if the mechanics have like a follow through or something. Maybe I should just keep pushing the stress higher, and maybe I'm doing too many opportunities for stress relief. I don't know. I agree with you. There's something to do in play with the stress that I don't quite get yet. Like I feel like something's a little missing. It doesn't have as much teeth as I want it to have. I'll reread the stress stuff and see if there's some stuff that I missed on it. Yeah, appreciate that. Cool. Any other wishes?
No, I'm just really excited for next week.
Okay. Were there any like story points that you definitely wanted Trixie to, or the story to hit?
Not that I can think of right now. I'll think on it though, and like email you if I remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Sherry, what about you? What wishes did you have?
Let's see here. I agree on the stress. I'm not sure what to do with it, except that when we react to it and do the things, it doesn't always like roll in like I'm used to. Like when I said, I'm up there and I'm right in her way. So if she wants to be angry at me, she could be, or whatever, or hysterical, like the essentially the
exactly.
hysteria.
And then like, I was like, that's a perfect setup. Like, should I put that to a role where your role could reduce her stress? But there doesn't, like, the only way that I see overcoming stress is like humor, heroism, or commitments. That's the only stuff in the book. And I didn't want to just make up stuff on the fly to explore how the rules would do it. But yeah, I think I would have liked for you as a character to be able to help her relieve stress there.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, because she realized her mistake. So she would, it's that sort of guilty thing of But anyway, so that's a thing that's sort of interesting. I think because we're so used to PBTA,
Yeah.
and all of that kind of like super emotional, like they write the bad stuff right in there, and that's like what's going to happen, and and you have that release valve. Where here it's like going, oh no, a hero does these things, and it's like, yeah, they do, but they also have some bad moments too. So yeah. So there's that kind of thing of going, okay, now we got to have a bad moment, and then you recover. So it's more, how do we negotiate the stress event itself? So that dog is so cute. Was he waiting outside your door this whole time?
No, he snuck in on me. He was like, I gotta see what's up.
Ninja'd in to be part of this. But the game has been awesome. I love 2-player superhero. I love these characters. This is super fun.
I guess you're doing stars now?
Yeah, I'm doing stars. I'm going straight to them. That's what matters to me.
Go for it.
So, Laura, you've been super awesome. Perfect. Cool. To my nerd girl. Yeah, no, it's been fabulous. And all the NPCs have been great, Rich. And your voices. That is so crazy.
Thank you. I'm glad you like that.
Got him right in there, smooth like butter. So.
Yay. Happy day. Got to throw out my stupid voice modulator software that I bought. I've been playing with those voices and making my wife listen to me do weird voices. She's like, you're such a dork, honey.
Like, that's why she married you. So
yeah, it's totally one of the top 3 reasons, I guess. Cool. Thank you, Sherry. Laura, what about you? What stars did you have from today's game?
No, I just had such a good time tonight. Like, I am so happy that Marcy is like beginning to get some of her mojo and like getting more comfortable. I am sorry that I left you like to face the camera, people, but I was also like, I really want Marcy to take like props for this. Like, I was just like, yes.
That's great.
No, so that was a lot of fun. And then Rich, I cannot tell you how much joy it brought me when like your voice modulator came in. I was like, I have never seen a transition that smooth, and I was just like, oh my, yes.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Thank you. That's great. I'm very happy. I was like, must have thing on second monitor and not make it super obvious when switch over. So I'm glad it paid off. That's great. Good. This has been a delight. I really have enjoyed what was the thing that you said earlier? This is so far out, redonkulous, absolutely redonkulous. The redonkulous dimension hopping American Empire fighting pair of Excess and Scatterbrained. I think that's just the name of our comic, Excess and Scatterbrained.
Yeah.
Right, or Scatterbrained Excess or something.
I literally, until I mispronounced your name as I was reading it, I hadn't put it together that it was a play on Scatterbrained.
And Sherry like unlocked it for me because it was like, wow, I feel dumb. Like that time
we both were dumb, Rich.
I felt real dumb.
Scatterbrained is great. It sounds so awesome. I would have never thought of that.
It's so 80s extreme.
Yeah, it is. It was perfect.
Cool. Well, thank you both so much for playing this, and I can't wait to bring things to some kind of close next week. So I'll stop the live stream here.